Welcome to Storyflix. In this video, we will explain Waiting for Spring. This movie tells the story of the love of an initially shy girl, but everything changes when she hangs out with the boys on her school's basketball team. How is this girl's love journey going? Let's find out in Waiting for Spring. Waiting for Spring tells the story of a little girl sitting alone named Haruno Mitsuki. Mitsuki has a shy character and is afraid to interact with new people. She accidentally met a little girl playing basketball named Miyama Ayaka at that time. Unlike Mitsuki, Ayaka appears to be a cheerful and energetic girl who can easily make friends with anyone. The scene changes to the time when Mitsuki has become a high school student. She is still stiff and shy, so she often finds it difficult to make friends. She still has no friends in her class and often becomes used by her classmates. She often does all the work herself when the schedule cleans the classroom. That day, when Mitsuki was almost done cleaning up the classroom trash, she saw a male student named Towa Asakura still sleeping in the classroom. She tried to wake him up, but he still didn't want to wake up. She then shouted loudly before she left the classroom so he could wake up. Asakura is one of the most popular and handsome students in his school. He joins the school's basketball team with three other friends, Yuji Tada, Kiyasuke Wakamiya and Rui Miyamoto. They had known each other for a long time, so they were all very familiar. Many female students at their school idolized them because of their good looks and their skills in playing basketball. Every time after school, Mitsuki takes a part-time job as a waitress at a restaurant. Where she works, she has a friend named Nana. Nana already knows that Mitsuki is still having difficulty making friends at school, so she encourages her to have a little courage to interact with her classmates. During Mitsuki's work at the restaurant, she often saw a little girl sitting alone in the corner of the basketball court holding a basketball. The girl made her remember her past when she was a child. She can relate to her because she was afraid to play with her friends in the past too. One day, Rui came to see Mitsuki and said that there was someone who wanted to express his feelings for her. But as it turned out, they mistook Mitsuki for someone else. The person who wanted to confess the feeling that day was Yuji, and the person he wanted to meet was actually Nana. Yuji and Rui end up having a small fight with each other. At the same time, Asakura appeared and recognized Mitsuki's face. He then called her name, but she had already walked away. The next day, Mitsuki tries to befriend a classmate named Rina Yamada. Although, at first, she looked nervous, she finally managed to invite Rina to have lunch together. Mitsuki looked relieved and felt very happy. After school, she tells Nana that she has managed to find a friend. At the same time, Asakura and his three friends were having lunch at Mitsuki's place. Kiyasuke then came over to Mitsuki to apologize for what happened the other day. Since that day, Asakura and his three friends have always come to the restaurant to have lunch together. After that, Mitsuki saw a little girl she had seen before. She was still sitting in the corner of the court alone. Mitsuki decided to approach her and persuade her to play basketball together, but the girl was still afraid because she couldn't play basketball as well as her other friends. Then she left Mitsuki. Seeing Mitsuki sitting alone on the basketball court, Asakura approached her and tried to introduce her to the rest of his friends. Still, she refused his offer because she thought that Asakura and his friends often played with girls like they did the other day. Looks like Mitsuki still didn't accept their treatment yesterday. Asakura replied that he and his friends never intended to do that, and yesterday's incident was just a misunderstanding. A few moments later, Mitsuki saw the little girl she saw earlier playing basketball with her other friends. She realized that Asakura and his friends had successfully persuaded the little girl to play basketball with other friends. Mitsuki then thanked Asakura and his friends. Now she slowly begins to accept their presence of them. She even told Asakura why she had been attracted to the little girl because the little girl reminded her of herself when she was little. The next day, Mitsuki and Rina started having lunch together. Mitsuki was happy that she didn't have to eat alone anymore. In her conversation with Rina, she found out that Rina doesn't like Asakura and his other friends. Rina always considered those close to them as her enemies. Since then, Mitsuki decided to stay away from Asakura and the rest of his friends because she didn't want her relationship with Rina to be broken. Moreover, Rina was the only female classmate she had. Asakura realized this and told Mitsuki that she and Rina's current relationship was not a true friendship. He then suggested that she tell the truth to Rina. Mitsuki was confused at first and didn't know what to do. But then she decided to dare herself to tell Rina the truth. The next morning, Mitsuki approached Rina and said that she had been close to Asakura and his other friends all this time. After hearing that, at first, Rina looked disappointed, but she finally understood Mitsuki's feelings. She then assured her that it would not break their friendship. Mitsuki felt relieved and happy, then told all that to Asakura, and he was happy. He asks her and Rina to come to their next basketball game. The basketball match that will be passed by Asakura and his friends is the preliminary match for the National Basketball Championship. When Mitsuki and Rina were about to enter the match field, Mitsuki did not realize that she had dropped her blue hair tie and was seen by a man with long hair. The basketball match between the Asakura's school basketball team and other school basketball teams began. The match was intense because the Asakura's team was still a few points behind the opposing team. Mitsuki immediately encouraged them by shouting in a loud voice. Seeing her enthusiasm, the audience was surprised because her voice was loud. Asakura's team returned to the spirit and tried hard to win the match. In the end, his team managed to win the match. After the match ended that day, Mitsuki accidentally met her childhood friend, Ayaka Miyama. However, she was surprised to discover that she was not a girl, but a young man, and her other friends realized that she had met her childhood friend. After Asakura found out that Ayaka was an important person to Mitsuki, he looked disappointed. He actually secretly likes Mitsuki, but still doesn't dare to confess his feelings to her. That night, Ayaka comes to see Mitsuki and says that he was purposefully hiding the fact that he is a boy because he still wants to be friends with her. He added that he would always be there for her if she needed help. Because Asakura and Ayaka both like Mitsuki, they have become rivals in getting her. Ayaka had challenged Asakura in a basketball match and said that whoever won the match would have her. But Asakura refused. In the following days, Asakura was seen avoiding and ignoring Mitsuki. Kiyasuki, who realized this, immediately invited Mitsuki to join their group conversation so she could contact Asakura. That night Asakura took Mitsuki home because it was very late at night. The two of them had finally become closer since that night. Mitsuki invites Asakura to go home together again another time. It seemed she was starting to have feelings for him. The next day, the basketball preliminaries continued. Unfortunately, Asakura's team lost a match that day, and Yuji suffered an injury to his leg. Asakura's team has failed to participate in the national championship match. Mitsuki feels sad and feels very useless to them. Moreover, Yuji was annoyed at Mitsuki because he misunderstood her reaction. Mitsuki then told it to Ayaka, and he immediately cheered her up. He promised her that he would always be by her side. The day after the match, Asakura, Rui and Kiyasuki came to Mitsuki and said that she didn't have to feel guilty about their team or Yuji. Kiyasuki explained that Yuji was just being sensitive because of the bad luck that happened to him that day. They also tell Mitsuki that she is a valuable friend to them, so their friendship does not need to be broken just because of small things. When summer vacation is almost here, Mitsuki has managed to make friends with more students in her class. It made Asakura feel very happy and relieved. That day Mitsuki was called by her homeroom teacher to come to the teacher's room. She is asked to participate in a short story writing competition to represent her school. At first, Mitsuki was hesitant because her classmates laughed at her in her childhood. But Asakura managed to persuade her to enter the competition. That evening, when Mitsuki starts writing her short story, Ayaka contacts her to ask her out on a date and watch the fireworks festival together. She agrees to his request and goes on a date with him the next night. They spent time together watching the fireworks celebration held that night. Nana, who saw Mitsuki going with Ayaka, immediately told Asakura and his friends. Asakura looked very heartbroken, but he didn't say anything. That night, it turns out that Ayaka confesses his love for Mitsuki. She looked confused and didn't give any answer. The next day, Rui sees Mitsuki and says that they actually don't like her closeness to Ayaka. However, if Mitsuki chose to be with Ayaka, they would not be against it. That evening, Mitsuki continued writing her short story. While writing, she kept thinking about Ayaka and Asakura. She still doesn't seem to know who she really loves. Elsewhere, Asakura and Ayaka have a one-on-one basketball match. In that match, Ayaka seemed superior to Asakura. Asakura became aware that he had to try to become even stronger to get Mitsuki. So, Asakura came to meet Mitsuki and hugged her while saying he would definitely become stronger later. Since then, Asakura has trained harder and tried more struggle in every basketball game. Long story short, Mitsuki's homeroom teacher reported that she had won the short story writing competition, so she was invited to an event to present her story. Unfortunately, the day of the presentation coincided with the day of Team Asakura's basketball game, so she couldn't attend the match. But Asakura said that Mitsuki didn't need to worry and just needed to focus on her presentation, and he then cheered on her. That evening, Ayaka calls Mitsuki and says he wants to know the answer to his confession of love when the basketball game is over tomorrow. Mitsuki looked doubtful as she still didn't know how she felt about him. The next day, Mitsuki comes to the event to present her short story while Asakura's team starts its basketball game elsewhere. Apparently, the short story written by Mitsuki is about her life which has changed after she met Asakura and his friends. She began to feel her life become more colorful and dared to be honest and express her feelings to others. After the short story presentation was over, Mitsuki immediately went to the Asakura team's basketball match venue and started supporting the Asakura's team. She cheered up his team by shouting loudly throughout the match. Asakura's team became even more excited to win the match. And luckily, his team won the basketball game. After the match, Mitsuki and Ayaka met each other again. At the meeting, she said that he was a very valuable friend to her, but she could not return his feelings of love. When New Year's Eve arrives, Asakura, Mitsuki and the rest of their friends come to the winter celebration festival. That night Asakura said that he liked Mitsuki and wanted her to always be by his side. The film closes with a scene of Asakura and Mitsuki kissing under a very beautiful snow scene. The moral that can be learned from this movie is, don't hesitate to express your feelings to others and start being brave for your own good.